the Ural Mountains were quieter than usual. The early winds howled through the ancient, snow-capped peaks, yet beneath the silence something had happened. Something the world was never meant to fully understand. 9 hikers, students and graduates from the Ural Polytechnical Institute, had set out weeks earlier for what was meant to be an arduous but routine trek. Their leader, Igor Dyatlov, was experienced, meticulous, careful. He and his team had mapped their journey well, moved north from Vijay, traversed through the snowbound slopes to Ototen, and returned in triumph. All members were young, fit, and no one was below 16. They knew the mountains, but the mountains, it seemed, held secrets of their own. Days passed with little sign of trouble. The group kept detailed diaries, took photos, documented their progress. Their laughter echoed across the forests and ridges, filling the void left by birds and wolves sheltering from the cold. Then, no word, no message, no signal, just absence. Weeks later, a search party slogged up the high pass, following the last known tracks of the group. Volunteers and military men tramped through waist-deep drifts, calling out names that were answered only by wind. They crossed frozen streams and pine forests until, under a still gray sky, they saw it. A battered tent, half buried, half shredded. At first glance, nothing made sense. The tent had been slashed open from within, as if the occupants had panicked, desperate to get out. Some in boots, some barefoot, leading down the slope. Unzipped sleeping bags, neatly stacked gear, untouched rations. The camp had been abandoned in a single, terrifying moment. The rescuers followed the trail through sparse trees, silence weighing on every step. They found bodies. First 2 face down near a fire pit of broken branches. 3 more sprawled in the snow, frozen mid-motion on the slope, as though trying to crawl back. The remaining 4 were discovered deeper in the woods, hidden by a shallow stream bed. Some had fractured skulls, broken ribs, eyes, and, incredibly, tongues missing. Yet others lay as though simply asleep. The official report called it a compelling natural force. But what force? Was it the wind, a roaring avalanche? Yet the tent and the bodies bore little of the violence one might expect from tons of tumbling snow. The canvas was upright, the footprints were clear. Belongings were not swept away. Was it panic brought by hypothermia? The desperate need to shed warm clothes, a symptom called paradoxical undressing, was known even then. Some had stripped to their underwear, others kept heavy coats. Yet no single detail fit the conclusion. There was too much method, too much order in the way they ran. Why cut the tent rather than simply open it? Then there were the injuries. One woman's chest cavity was crushed. Doctors insisted the force would be more at home in a car accident. Another, both eyes missing, tongue gone. No animal tracks matched the scene. Radiation was found too. Traces, inexplicable, clinging to clothing. In the days that followed, rumors roared louder than the Ural wind. Some whispered of secret military testing, missiles, parachute mines, or cursed sonic weapons. UFO stories took root. A glowing orange light was reported by distant hikers on the same night, hanging low above the sky. The state's silence, the sealed files, the brief, cautious press releases, maps, autopsy sketches. But for every answer, the mystery grew. Even today, the Dyatlov Pass Incident remains a void, a silence inside the mountains that science and speculation have not filled. What is known is this: 9 hikers, skilled and determined, fled into frozen darkness. Some died of exposure, others by unknown trauma. Others spoke of the Mansi, the reindeer herders who lived nearby, yet there was no sign of any confrontation and no motive. The tent was abandoned not by force of avalanche, but by fear of something inside or perhaps outside that still defies explanation. The Ural Mountains kept their silence. Locals call the pass Dead Mountain. The winds howl as they always have. But sometimes, when the moon is hidden and the snow falls thick, the silence grows deeper. What really happened that night is a question that echoes into eternity. Just another part of the mountain's oldest secret, untold and unsolved. The story of the so-called Dyatlov massacre endures, not just for the gruesome mystery, but for the chilling truth. Sometimes the world's most remote places swallow their secrets, and the mountains go silent forever. If you're fascinated by unsolved mysteries, dark history, and the stories the world forgot, you're in the right place. Subscribe to Obscura Vault and join us as we dive into the world's most chilling secrets, one mystery at a time.